Welcome to A Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode of our Brave Noise interview series, we're joined at London Craft Beer Festival by Ash and Ren, two amazing members of the Brave Noise team who together are daring to be brave and make noise about their Brave Noise initiative. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer and making a brave noise. Come join us. Right, here we are. We are at London Craft Beer Festival. It's quite noisy, but we have the microphone. I think we're going to be okay. And we are delighted to have Ash and Ren from the Brave Noise Initiative. And we are so privileged that you've come on to speak to us. If you'd just like to in case, we talk about it a lot on the podcast for obvious reasons, but if you'd like to introduce yourself, in case people haven't been listening to us, please let everybody know why you are here. Should we start with Ash? There we go.
Yes. Hello. I'm Ash Elliott, and I founded a platform called Women of the Bevolution, and I'm co-founder of Brave Noise, which is advocating for a safe and discrimination-free beer industry. So excited to be here in London. I'm going to pass the mic to our collaborator, Ren.
I know, right? It's like pass the mic. I'm Ren Navarro. I'm the Canadian consultant for Brave Noise, and I run Beer Diversity, which is a consultancy company that talks about diversity and inclusion in alcohol and outside of alcohol, and basically anyone who wants to talk about it. And that's been running for 4 years. And so obviously I'm here for Brave Noise. And it's great to be back in London.
We're glad to have you here. Do you want to start?
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, I've got all the questions noted down, so my brain is not functioning properly at the moment, so as usual. So in terms of it, I think everyone kind of knows the origins of how it started, but how was it that you guys sort of, as a group, came together to form Brave Noise? Meet each other, I guess, is really the question. Who wants to answer that?
It's like you do.
Yeah, I guess I sometimes wish I was a matchmaker because I like to find people that are doing real good things and good work and kind of bring them together. And I think that's where I met Brienne when she was sharing, stories on Instagram, and with Women of the Bevolution, I was like, okay, well, what can I do? I have a platform. How can I support, share the stories, provide resources? And so that's where Brienne was like, I might want to she had already brewed Brave Noise, and she was like, people keep asking if it can be a collaboration. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. How can I get involved? So from a resource aspect, that's where I kind of came in. And then I connected with Ren and was like, okay, well, Ren's doing amazing work in creating more inclusive workspaces in the beer industry, among many other things that she's been doing. And I was like, I would love to bring Ren into the conversation about being part of this collab. And then also Jen Blair, who it does literally everything and currently works for Cicerone, and she's very involved with the home brewing world, and I also have my foot in the home brewing world as well. And so I was like, hey, would you be part of this, collab with us? And so that's where it kind of started, the four of us, and then from there we kind of brought on other collaborators. So we have Safe Bar Network, who does active bystander training for bars and breweries. We have HR Uprise, who create a code of conduct, a guide to how to create your own code of conduct, and they're available if breweries have further questions about creating one. We have Not Me, the misconduct reporting app. It's a free tool that folks can download and actually report misconduct at wherever they're working. And so they've been a great support system in the beer industry. And then, we also just have a few other resources, and we're, through all the nonprofits that have been involved too, now we have a complete list of all these nonprofits globally that folks can support that align with the Brave Noise mission of a safe and inclusive industry. So yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. I don't know if I missed anything. I think that was pretty descriptive. I was like, I'll pass this back. Sorry, I'm gripping onto it.
It's that thing. It's that thing that we did when we were doing the International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, and then people are taking photos, and they're like, just act normal, and we're like, how do you? And we're like, very normal. And then it's like, I've never done that in my life. I swear to God, like, I don't know. I do like someone takes a camera out and then like the hand goes on the hip because I'm like, I don't know what to do. That looks right. I've done so obviously I met you online ahead of time because I actually did the active bystander training, and it was really, really brilliant because I think everyone thinks they know what they would do in that situation, but it's very different to be in that situation. And I think that training actually gave some pretty good real life examples of what you would do. And also, it's not just about creating conflict. Like, it was really good to say, okay, you don't have to walk up and barge up to someone and be like, hey, what are you doing? Get away. There was a very good, if you're a non-confrontational person, how do you handle that and still make sure the person is safe? And talking about using alcohol as tooling and all that. And that was some stuff that I feel like is really important and we might know, but it doesn't get talked about in that way. So that was a really, really amazing training, I think. Jo, do you have anything you want to add before I move on?
No, I mean, so talking about the charities, that was really, that was like our really difficult thing when we were doing ours with Mirakai, trying to find, like, there was so many, we were like, oh, we could support these people. But sometimes, like, the charities or the organisations can't take things that have been from the sale of alcohol, so that was quite difficult. Like, I've just changed jobs, but previously I worked for a homelessness charity, so then, like, there was things that we wanted to do there, but it's like, actually, because of the people we're supporting, it being involved in alcohol isn't a great thing. So, but we managed to find the wellness officers initiative through the Coven, which we're so pleased about. We managed to find that, and it's really great now that you've got a directory of those that people, if they want to do that kind of work, there is now those things that they can do it from. I think that's brilliant, really useful.
Yeah, we definitely want this to be. We definitely want the collab to be as informative as possible. Like, we want to have the resources laid out. We want to help. Like, I think that it can be a little intimidating for folks to engage with the collab because there's a lot of steps, right? Like, we want people to do the work. But again, like, if you have a question, we have been very open about working with breweries to, like, hey, just reach out to us. Let's have the conversation. We're here to help. Here's resources. We'll help guide you. Like, it's not we're not, I want us to be available and, like, collaborative. So I hope, like, everyone listening and breweries, like, listening, like, if you have a question, reach out. If something problematic happened at your business, we also are here to be a resource and help you do the right thing. So
I think that's brilliant because, it's that whole, people think that it's really, there's so many steps to it, but actually I would argue that I don't think there's actually that many. We did it. So our first episode, because we originally started out saying we're going to make this Brave Noise series and we're going to try to talk to everyone in the UK that has brewed a Brave Noise beer, and at the moment there's only 10 people that have signed up to it, so we're like, this is something we feel is achievable, and we hope that it gets so big that it becomes unachievable is really our goal. And the first episode we had only recorded a 20-30 minute segment because we originally thought it was going to be 20-30 minutes making one really long episode, and that didn't happen. So we filled the second half of that episode by just basically going, we're just going to walk you through the steps of the website and show you how easy it is and demystify it, because I think people think, oh, that's a lot of things, I got to do a code of conduct, I got to do this. But I think you guys...
You literally did it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We talked about how homebrewers could get involved and how bottle shops and customers could get involved. And that took up more time than it did actually signing up to the initiative.
I think we talked about all the amazing things off the back end of it and all the things that you could do and should do more than it actually took to do the steps, because you guys have made it so easy to do, to set something up. It's do the work.
It's like all laid out there.
That's it. It's the do the work, but it's also you've spelled it out to make it easy for people to do the work so that they can't they don't trip over themselves going, oh, that sounds like it's a lot to do this. I'm not legal. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. You've made it really, really easy for that to happen. Yeah. Did you ever think that it was going to go global?
I think it's always the hope that it'll go global. I think that, we've kind of come off of this long run of global initiatives. So there was the All Together for, like, hospitality, and then there was Black is Beautiful. And then I think that because those became global, and, fortunately, being in North America, we're very like, if it happens in North America, it can happen anywhere. And so those both happened in North America. And I think that what we hoped was that it would catch fire the same way. And what we learned is, as you said, people were like, oh, this is too hard to do. How do I put in writing that I will keep you safe and try to do these things? And I think we still got it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're pushing 200. I would love it to be a much larger number, because when you look at the other initiatives, and again, like, no knock on these other initiatives, but they didn't ask for something in return. They were just like, here's a recipe, go do it. Give it to your favorite hospitality charity, or give it to your favorite, Black Lives Matter group or national or whatever. And we just said, put in writing that you want to be accountable for things. And everyone went, ooh, I don't know if I can do that. And I think that, but we still did see that there was an uptick from international breweries. So the pro is that, yes, a bunch of people took it on. The con is that there could be so many more, and that it just shows that people are still too scared to commit things to writing.
Agree. We've definitely had, like, we when we spoke to Wilderness Brewery, they're headed by James, and he was like, oh, like, at first I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, am I allowed to do it because I'm a guy? And yeah, everyone is allowed to do it, because we are all part of this industry and this community, and we all want to be safe and be inclusive and build the community into what we want it to be. So yeah, you can do it, whoever you are.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of people saying, but I'm a straight white male and I don't know if I have a place in this. And my argument to that was, but as a straight white male who has that platform, you are able to speak to people who maybe won't listen to some of us. You could convince other people to listen to us.
As I quietly be like, give me the microphone. But that's the thing that we were really pushing, is that use your privilege, because there's a very select group of us who just keep screaming into the wind. And so people get very tired of hearing from the same group of us. And if a guy stands up and says, hey, I think this is a good idea, everyone listens to him.
It's become an echo chamber. It's like you're shouting in an echo chamber, and you're like, but we can't do this on our own, shouting in an echo chamber.
Exactly.
We need somebody else to come in
and
help push this as well.
And I mean, it's frustrating, because we're a group of intelligent people doing these things and pushing it forward. But if I can get two guys to stand up and say, hey, I did it, and I put this into writing, and now, I'm seeing that these people who never came into my brewery before now come in because they know they can hold us accountable in terms of these things. And everyone goes, ooh, that's really good. I'll take it. Because the more people who say, do you know what? I listened to what they were screaming about and realized, because the problem is that too many breweries declare themselves to be good people. And you can say that you're a good person, but it doesn't mean anything. Someone else has to tell you. It's the same thing as being an ally. You can say you're an ally. It doesn't mean anything. Someone has to bestow that upon you, and you can lose that. And I think we need to get over that and understand that it is up to us, and we need to stop saying, but I didn't know where to start. The website gives you everything you need. It is completely, and it's so comprehensive, but it also is like, if you have problems, here are the people you talk to. So it's not even like, hey, just read this, it's easy. It's like, hey, read this, it's easy. But if you still have questions, here are a group of people you can reach out to. Here are email addresses. Here are partner groups. Here are partner associations. And the thing is, and I get it. Some breweries can't do it because of, money or size or whatever. That is fine. Do not feel bad about it. Like, those breweries listening, it's okay. But the ones who say, I'm not comfortable putting my value statements down or my code of conducts down, you cannot be trusted. There is nothing that you can do that will win me over if you say no to this. And this is not about bullying into doing it. It's just, even if you don't brew the beer, do the code of conduct, do the value statement. Because I don't care. You can make the best beer in the world, but if I don't feel safe and I think that something bad is going to happen to me when I'm in your space, guess what? I'm not going to drink your beer.
So that's just, this is a question I didn't have jotted down. I hope this is an okay question. It has sort of dawned on me. So speaking to Emma from Mirakai, especially when we made our Brave Noise, she had nothing but compliments of saying, if people can't do everything there, and the code of conduct's in their power, but some of the actual brewing process is out of their control, they can't do it. You guys have been so good at being accommodating to say, you know what, let's work with this, let's try to make this work, and like you said, having the conversations, giving all the contact details, knowing who to reach out to. If somebody turned around and said, look, I have a beer that I've brewed, it's not the recipe, it's something different, but I want to do this charity beer even though it's not the recipe. If someone contacted you and said, I'll do the code of conduct and everything else and donate to charity, would you be open to allowing them to use a beer that they've already planned on brewing and using that for the Brave Noise, or is there sort of a marriage to the recipe?
And the only reason, again, I do that is because someone in Canada did do that.
Oh, amazing.
So they said, we're going to sign up for Brave Noise, but we're not going to use the recipe, but we will do the label, we will do the code of conduct, and we will do the value statement, so the QR code is there. They've always wanted to do a clone beer of a very large brewery, and said, this is our chance to do it. We appreciate the recipe you've given us, but this is our chance to play, but we're going to use your label and we're going to push this forward. And so they did a full launch, and they talked about Brave Noise, and they talked about what it was about. So they still used everything else from the platform. And it's, and I mean, I've been lucky enough, I think at this point I've done 8 or 10 collabs for Brave Noise, and everyone's done a little twist. There's only one that's been pretty true to the original recipe. And so it's not about here's the recipe, you must stick to it, because it's never been that way with any of these other collabs or initiatives. So don't be like, well, we don't make pale ales. Cool, then don't make a pale ale, but slap the label on it. Make a lager, right? Make a lager, a very tasty lager. And I think that as long as that QR code is there and that conversation is still started, it doesn't matter what the liquid is in the container. I mean, there's been kombucha, there's been cider. Not everyone is doing beer, so...
We don't see those elements to it because we just see the UK, and it's almost like in the UK there have been just the replications of the recipe. I mean, I've seen it in the US, but the ones I've seen were also just more or less replicating the recipe. And I've heard the argument, that's a really, really great argument, is, we don't want to take away from the initiative by doing anything that might be seen as over the top, changing that. And I think that's a very noble thing to do, but I think that's also really great if somebody's saying, I physically cannot fit something else into my brew schedule. I already have all these ingredients, I have these commitments done. Can I reuse something? Not reuse it, but I've got this on the go. Can we use this and follow all the steps? And you're open to doing that. I think that's really brilliant.
I want to add on to that because, yes, I want to emphasize that it's not about the recipe or even the brew. It's about the steps and the message that we want to get out there. It's about doing the work. Again, yes, we've had many variations. We have a cider. We are having a hard kombucha I know of in the US. Vault City, that's here at the fest, did a pineapple sour. And yeah, obviously Lost and Grounded that's here has a lager on tap, a Brave Noise lager. So again, if suddenly it didn't work in the brew schedule or something, it's make a commitment in another way. If you want to do an event, you want to do merch or something just to help kind of spread awareness, that's great. But again, it is those steps that we want people to make. So yeah.
That leads me to another question that I have later on, but I might as well ask it now. I happen to know somebody that makes amazing beer hot sauce. And obviously your initiative is aimed around beer, like breweries and home brewers. And also, obviously we're here at the We Are Beer Festival. They've done that collaboration. If there's somebody that doesn't fit the mold of brewery or home brewer that wants to get involved, someone wants to make a charity beer hot sauce. I mean, I'm not directing this to anyone in particular. I might have already messaged this person to say you should do this and you should utilize these hops, because that's how they could tie it in. It's just, here's these hops. Make a charity hot sauce that I would 100% buy, and I think a lot of other people will. Is that something that they could contact you about and you'd be willing to work with? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Again, it's just, please make the hot sauce. Please do it. Please reach out to us. We've also had bars that have just reached out and they're like, hey, we want to support, we want to post a code of conduct. Can we sign up? So we've definitely expanded. I mean, this touches the entire hospitality industry. So we definitely don't want people to feel like they have to brew the actual product. It could be a different variation. It could be something else like hosting an event or just taking those steps,
That's amazing. And I think we did speak to Tom from We Are Beer, who was the one that was there at Lost and Grounded doing, on behalf of everyone doing that beer. And he raised something that's really stuck with me since we spoke to him, which was he learned from someone else that all you had to do through a conversation, he learned this, not all you have to do, but something that's really important and can be quite impactful is just doing something as simple to you as sticking a rainbow flag on a door. Because people see a rainbow flag on the door and they know that this is some place that will make me feel more comfortable. I'm welcome here, and I thought that was really great because it did resonate with me, because I was somewhere recently where I drove by a pub in an area that I probably wouldn't have normally gone to the pubs, because they tended to be very the traditional pub that I feel like if I walked in, people would be like, oh, but I saw a rainbow flag out in their garden as I drove by, and I was like, you know what, that makes me feel like I could go in there and I'd be welcome. And I thought that was really brilliant, just an important statement. Would you guys consider doing something like having a sticker or something that people can put on the doors if they sign up as a just put your hand down?
I know, I just keep, well, I think the problem is that people mess up. So to give a sticker that says, here you've got the thumbs up or the, you know, that tick mark, what happens in 6 months when things go pear-shaped? And I think that giving someone a sticker allows them to rest on their laurels. Because the thing with the rainbow sticker is, if you put it in the window and then you crack all the homophobic jokes, there are consequences. And I think that this, to me, the initiative is not about us watching over. This is the first step, right? It's not that, oh, we've brewed it and now we've shown everyone that we're great because we did this, you know, the value statements and the code of conduct. It's like, no, now you have to do more. Like, thank you for doing this, and thank you for, you know, connecting with charities and doing things for your local community, but like, you're not done. And I think that I'm reluctant with stickers.
No, I think that's
because there is no, part of it means that we now have to create almost this rule book that says, if you have a sticker in the window, we expect this from you forever. And I don't know about you, but I don't have time. So like, you know, hey, it's your 6-month check-in. And I think that people get lazy, and if they have a sticker in the window, they kind of tap the sign and say, well, we got this and we know it's okay. And I think that, no, you don't get a sticker. It's the same, you don't get a gold star. It's like, so you did something good. Great. Do something again. And again, and again, and again. And I think that not giving people that pushes them to work harder.
I think that's an amazing response, and something that I probably wouldn't have even thought about, but it makes complete and total sense. And this is more about empowerment for the people to do the right thing for their business. And like you said, people aren't infallible. They could change in 6 months. A new owner could take over and it could all change, and next thing you know, someone goes in there and says, I was mistreated, and they're coming to you to say, well, you signed off this place, and it's like, well, no, and that's totally wrong.
I'm gonna add on to that, because yes, it is a tricky situation, and we've been asked that. And as much as like I would like to find a way to collaborate, it is like us on the ground having to then check in, and it's just monitoring. And it's like, you know, anything with like getting a health rating at a restaurant or something, you know, it's like people are checking in on that. Like, we can't really do that. And so I think that the only way in the future, if we did something like it's an event or festival where we're an actual, like, we're managing it, we're a leader in it, we're kind of like, it's our festival, our event, like that's a little different. But like even here, like that question did come up here at the London Craft Beer Fest, and as much as like I want people to feel welcome, this isn't our fest. Like, we're here to offer support, spread the word, engage breweries and customers that are here. But, you know, we're really, like, we're here to have the conversation, have open dialogue, but we're not like, you know, we're not in control. This isn't our event. So I think that's where it does get a little tricky. As much as I would love to have that sort of certification process, if I had the time and capacity and energy.
That's brilliant. I mean, do you think it's fair to say that if somebody feels like they want to show that they're a safe space, then what they need to be doing is continuing to support the breweries that are doing the right thing, and making a brave noise, and supporting from black-owned breweries, female-owned breweries, like all those the diversity, LGBTQ plus breweries, supporting those breweries, putting those beers on tap. And that's, I guess, sort of sending that message to you on of like, look, we don't have a sticker on the door, that's not a thing we do, but look at who we're supporting, and look who we're giving our money to. So do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think that's a very reasonable response. Like, you've got other jobs that you've got to do. Like, you're not in charge of these people. That's the whole point. Like, we have all got other jobs that we have got to do. Like, these people need to take responsibility of themselves. Do that. But if you're a venue, like, do your code of conduct. show it in that way, and show that you've got that sort of thing. Like, there are ways you can do it, but you've got to put in the work, just like you said.
So we've got Tom's view on sort of how things came about. We will be speaking to Lost and Grounded, and really excited. That spoiler alert, if this comes out before the Lost and Grounded one, which I'm sure it will. Spoiler. So it would be really cool to get your point of view on how that collaboration came about.
With you at the fest?
With the festival.
Oh, yes. So originally we were actually introduced by Johnny at the Craft Beer YouTube channel. So Johnny had interviewed Brienne, and then that's where Tom, I think, had like gotten connected with Johnny. Was like, hey, like actually I want to connect with the Brave Noise team. We're doing, these festivals, and so Brienne had suggested, well, it'd be great to do like a collaborative brew at these festivals, and so she reached out to Lost and Grounded, and so that's where the conversation started to have the beer available at all of the We Are Beer Fest. And then from there, we were like, well, they kind of invited us to come to London, and I was like, it would be great to we're supposed to have the full team, and then Brienne is opening up her new brewery in Portland, Maine. So is it Sacred? It's Sacred Profane, right? Is it and profane? I always forget the and. Sacred Profane. But so she's very, very busy. And then Jen Blair just started kind of a new job and has been traveling. So we were hoping to get all of us together. Me and Ren are here. So we were like, we gotta go. Let's do this. And so that's where we're like, we would love to have a booth and kind of work with them on making sure there was a code of conduct. And so for folks that are listening, the code of conduct is actually like posted around the venue. It's on their website, in their Instagram link in bio, and there's actually like email addresses for like the founders. If you have like an issue, you can reach out to them. And then obviously we're here, like if anything did arise, like, we're here to have the conversation. We want to do what we can. And obviously, there's a ton of security here as well. And the Ask for Angela initiative is here as well. So I think like in the restrooms, they put like info on that. So it's great. Like I'm hoping this is, a step in the direction of other festivals doing the same thing and seeing this as a model, and hopefully building kind of off of that.
Yeah, and if you're going to a beer festival and you're not sure about it, make sure that you challenge the festival, message them and just say, what's your code of conduct? I haven't seen it, and see what they have to say about it, because, it's quite important to do that. So, hello. The Brienne's Brewery, I'm really excited. I've been following that because I'm originally from the US and from New England specifically. So it's like I've been following all that. I'm like, I can't wait for the next time that I go back and I can go.
Get to see it.
Probably. I don't know. Whenever my next trip is, we'll see.
Back beer.
That's the important.
Do I ever not bring you back beer? I always bring you back.
Okay.
Unless her suitcase gets lost on the way back.
And then it gets found, and you still get your beer.
That's wild.
Yeah, so we obviously, as I mentioned at the start, we only have 10 breweries that have signed up. In North America, between the US and Canada, have you initially, when it first started, did you see a struggle to get people involved, or did so many people get involved right away? What's the expectation? Can we expect that we think it will take more speed here, or?
I think that, Canada didn't jump on it the way I thought they would. Comparing U.S. to Canadian breweries, so there's 4,000 plus breweries in the States and 1,400 in Canada, but 400 of those are in Ontario, so it's the largest concentration of breweries. And the number of those who have signed up based in Ontario is laughably small. And then you compare it to those who did Black Lives Matter and the Black is Beautiful beer. But the Black is Beautiful beer, of those who did it, 5, 10 have redone it since. So it just showed that it was very flash in the pan. We were able to do it very quickly. There was no checks or balances. I went onto a website, I grabbed it, I did the label. Maybe I didn't do the label. Maybe I stole the beer. That's for another podcast. And then for Brave Noise, I think it's 20 in Ontario, which again, small of 400. And then BC per capita was the largest to sign up to do it. And then those in BC have actually continued different initiatives. So for them, that was the true jumping off point where they, said, okay, we're going to do this, but now we're going to, get into this. So some breweries are signing up for Not Me, and others are doing Good Night Out, which is, Good Night Out Vancouver, which is a group that does kind of the same thing that Safe Bars does. And, so they're like the Canadian version and training. So it's been good to see those things happen, but I really wish that it was a much larger number of breweries instead of a lot of people being like, well, it's COVID, and like, what was I gonna do? And like, we had to make money. And it's like, but you just dropped $2,000 on the newest like flash hop that you used in one beer. So like, explain to me. And I think that this is also the period of time where people are asking more questions. So we as consumers are now saying, okay, how do you keep me safe? And I'm not asking you to guarantee it because it's impossible to guarantee a safe space, but I want you to make the attempt. And if something happens, I know where to go. Do I pull out my phone and I use the Not Me app? Do I, if HR Uprise is doing something, or you know what I mean? So I think that the piece is that it's been really hard to get breweries to commit to it because there's been this weird fear, and a lot of breweries are trying to do other initiatives. They're just jumping on other things now and being like, well, we did this thing. And it's like, yeah, cool, but what are you going to do next? And again, I get it, as a business owner, you have to hustle hard, but it's also, if you do this, you're showing a group of people who are ignored and excluded that you're making an effort. And it's, if I feel safe or welcome in your space, guess what? I'm going to spend the money. So like, let's just, it was capitalism all along. And like, it's one of those things where this doesn't just help the community, it helps you and helps put you as someone who is willing to stick your neck out to make changes. And I know, American breweries definitely jumped on it a lot faster, and there was definitely a greater uptick. I mean, you can speak to this better than I can, but I think there was a great uptick there where Canada, we're cute and everything. We say sorry a lot, but damn, we're lazy. We're really lazy when it comes to these things.
I just have to say, Ren has done such a tremendous job in Canada. There's 58 breweries, and I mean, that's all been like Ren, like just actively talking to breweries, engaging them. So it's huge. It's been a ton of work. I think, in the UK, yeah, we have 10 right now, but even from conversations today at the fest have been really positive about other breweries here that want to brew it. And then, yeah, the US is just, because Brienne was based there and a lot of us were, and so it's just kind of like spread. But we're hoping to expand that. So anyone listening, please let us know. We're here to help.
So I know that I've definitely spoken to some breweries that were wanting to get involved as well, but they just haven't committed yet. And I'm really hoping, I've said this before and I'll say it again, like there's a lot of breweries that are doing the right thing and a lot of spaces that are doing the right thing. And I'm like, you're doing the right thing. Why don't you just want to shout about it? And like, all you've got to do is just jot down what you're already doing and like show people that you're doing the right thing. Like, why wouldn't you want people to know that?
But I think there's a thing with that where folks are afraid that it'll come off as performative. Yes. And so they say, I can't stand and yell it from the rafters because what if, what do I follow it up with? And I think that there is a way to do it. Social media, again, we post, everyone goes to Yakima Chief and jumps into the giant like hill of hops. Why don't we show that you're brewing this thing, and why don't we give your platform to the community group that you're working with and allow them to speak about something? And it's so much easier when you do that and say, you know what, we have 10, 20, 60,000 followers, and here's the community group that we're supporting for that period of time, and let them talk about it. Let them use their words, and we just say, you know what? We brewed a beer and we learned from them and they benefited, and then we benefited, and now you get to benefit as the person who follows us. And I think that we get so caught up in our thoughts and this fear of getting it wrong, and we get it wrong all the time. Like, breweries dump beer constantly and you keep going, right? Your brewer shows up the next day and turns the lights on and does it all over again. So why is it that when we talk about Brave Noise, we talk about these initiatives, everyone goes, I don't know, I might get it wrong. And it's like, yeah, you probably will. You know what? That's life. Because if you get things right all the time, it's really boring, and why are you doing anything? So I think we need to, as a group, start supporting each other and saying, you know what? I am going to get it wrong, and I am going to mess it up, and we're going to use the resources that have been given to us. We're going to talk to these people who are sitting here waiting to help us out, and we're going to figure it out.
Again, Emma Mirakai sort of said as well when we recorded with her that it's the Emma Mirakai said, it is very much like everyone wins when you do that. Like everyone wins. You win as a brewery because you're going to get more business. You know, the people win because they know they're going to be safe and feel included. So, you know, what's not to do? It's selfish, but it's also not selfish. So it's really great. When you do have breweries that sort of apply for this type of thing, and you can tell that maybe it's a bit performative, or maybe they have a problematic past. If you have someone that is trying to sign up for it, that is in that situation, they have a problematic past, or they're currently having a controversy, or you feel like they're doing it to be performative and they haven't actually followed anything other than just putting the very basic code of conduct. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I can. I will step in on this one because I'm kind of behind the scenes answering all the emails. So when this does arise, and I've definitely gotten former employees or customers that have alerted me about a problem at the brewery, or something was posted that we just weren't aware about at that exact time. And so we are trying to do our diligence we'll go and contact that brewery and let them know that something has been shared, and ask, like, what steps are you taking and how can we provide you with resources to help you create a safer, more inclusive environment. And
So Ash will go through the emails, and then if it's Canadian, I'll get it, and it'll be like, what's your take on it? And that's been the great thing about kind of having us in two spots, because it's, you know, you'll know a Canadian brewery by name, and I'll be like, I know what's going on. And it's been great because we've been able to be transparent with it too. And so what happens is Ash does the email, sends it to me and says, are they good? If the answer is no, then Ash will reply and say, we've discussed it as a team. Here's the thing that's come up. Here's your chance to reply to it. Because it's not about doing a jump on someone and being like, we heard this terrible story about you. It's like, we're going to give you the chance. And this is a very important initiative, and we can't have it be like, yeah, actually we were kind of gross, but we still want to do it. It's like, well, no, we can't have that. And so there are ones that have said, yes, we got called out and we're making changes. And the next question is, what changes have you made? What are your next steps? What's your long-term plan?
I definitely think, like, when we had our moment over here and we had all of our stuff come out, like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, these breweries, oh yeah, we put up a we're sorry statement. And then there are some that I have not seen anything from since. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen your actions where this is what we're doing. I've not seen it. And I'm like, yeah, see, you're still on my list. Sorry. Until I see the actions, you're still sitting on my list. Like, I'm not cancelling you. I'm watching you to see what you're doing. And when you do something that's positive, then we'll be good again.
I mean, that goes back to our collab. You know, it's based on, three things. It's transparency, it's accountability. So there's three things: transparency, accountability. I'm like it. Action. Thank you. I'm like, what? Yeah, actually do the fucking work. Thank you.
Might just to add to all those points as well, it's like, for me, it's not about cancel culture. It's not about saying somebody's past redemption. For me, it's like, I'm not cancelling you. I'm choosing not to spend my money with you at the moment. And then when you show me that you're somebody that you build that trust back, and you show me I can trust you again, then I will start spending money. I'm not about saying you're done forever, nothing's ever going to change.
But I think the thing about cancel culture as a term is that, and I've said this in a bunch of spots, we're not canceling you, like you said. We're asking you to be accountable. But it's also, you've said, like, you were going to do these things, you didn't do it, and so someone said, but we want to hold you accountable, and you said, oh, but I'm being canceled. You're not being canceled. You're being asked to do better.
So I know that you guys have to get back to your turn. I've got to get back to my turn. Joe's going to get back to work. The deadline has been extended to December. If somebody can't make that December deadline, they want to do it next year. Will you be extending it again? Is there an ability to extend it again?
So it's going to be kind of a case-by-case basis, but folks can still apply. If they want to do their own rendition of Brave Noise inspired by kind of what we're doing, we kind of have the same model, that's fine. Again, we just want everyone to have take the steps, have the resources. I think that it'll definitely continue going. We really want to make as much noise as possible right now, and we also want to show the folks that have supported, the impact that we've had so far. We've had over 260 breweries. We've had over 700 home brewers. And we've raised probably like over $100,000 to charities all around the world. So I think that's where we want to wrap up this year and just show the work that that everyone's been doing so far. But this collab will still be out there. The initiative will still be out there, and we still need a lot more folks involved. So please reach out to us if you'd like to collaborate or learn more.
Just as a final message, is there, if there's anyone that's thinking of getting involved, any organisations, breweries, anything else that is thinking of getting involved, but maybe they're not sure, or they've been holding back for whatever reason, or they didn't know about it, what message would you like to send to them?
I would say that, we're open to getting more involved with other organizations and adding them to our nonprofit list, adding resources regionally. So we say, reach out to us. We just want to kind of work with everyone right now and just make as much noise as possible.
I want people to not just say the initiative is over and my opportunity to do it is over. This is the start to a great moment to continue more and to lay the groundwork to make it better. I think that with this allows people to continue and say, okay, we've done it or we haven't done it, but value statements, code of conduct, they're really important. If you own a company, you've got to do it. They have to exist.
Brilliant. Thank you both so much. We've done it.
I'm so glad that we got to talk to Ash and Ren and that we got to meet them in person. They are so lovely. They are so inspiring. We've got our t-shirts.
I bought this t-shirt, but then Ash was so not. I got a Women of the Bevolution.
Yeah, we've got Women of the
Bevolution. It's in the
Bevolution
wash because I sweated in it at London Craft Beer Festival.
It was a very warm weekend.
It needed to be washed, but so excited about that, and I love it. It's a nice V-neck Brave Noise top, which I love.
V-neck.
I love a V-neck because it's just the right cut for me. So thank you so much for that. We got stickers. Thank you for the stickers.
Thank you so much.
Massive thank you to both of them for taking the time because it was crazy busy. It was so busy. Crazy warm.
Yeah.
We during the interview, you may or may not notice, we had a visitor who really enjoyed who was in the green room and really enjoyed our interview. So you might hear a bit of that. And
a big thank you, mentioning the green room, big thank you to Bathhouse Hops for allowing us to use the space to record our podcast. It's ever so kind of you.
Big thank you to them and big thank you to the Brave Noise team. So
it's so good.
It was a really inspiring conversation as well. And I really hope that people take away from this that the most important aspect of Brave Noise is to just be brave and make a noise. Like stand up, put your head above a parapet. Like don't be afraid to be unashamed about your who you are and what your feelings are as a brewery. Like if you are all about equality, like don't shy away from talking about how much you do care about that.
Brewers, breweries, tap rooms, beer related products,
beer adjacent
products, consumers, tap rooms, all of it, pubs, all of you can get involved in this initiative and really show your true colors to the world, and let's all do it together.
Yeah, I think it was a really inspiring conversation, and we organized it I didn't really think about the possibility of doing this until quite close to the time that we were due to go there, and I had done the safe active bystander training where I first spoke to Ash, and then I kind of went, ooh, I wonder if we could interview them, and Tom from We Are Beer very, very kindly, thank you, Tom, as well. He set that he set the connection up there for me to sort of ask the question if it would be all right, and he was really great in helping with the comms there as well. So I'm really glad we managed to pull that off, because I feel like the conversation that we've had was really important, and it's stuff that people really needed to hear. And just a massive thank you all around, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that conversation and took some stuff away from that conversation, because it was quite a big one in terms of importance and what I think the messages were from that. So definitely.
Tori, if people would like to tell you how inspiring this episode has been, or if they've got questions about Brave Noise and you can point them in the right direction, where can they get hold of you?
Yes, please feel free. I feel like now that I've got the t-shirts, now I'm like, please come talk to me, and if I don't know the answer, which I probably don't, I mean, I don't know
someone who
I'll
does know
find the right
answer.
people that do, because I know many people that do. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_hoptimism. You can get me on Gmail at adventuresinhoptimism@gmail.com, or I will very likely answer your email if you submit it to the podcast at awomensbrewpodcast@gmail.com. Joe, where can people find you if they want to talk to you about the amazing conversation we had?
Come and talk to me about the conversation. Come and ask me if you want to know about homebrewing it, because we did that and I can give you some tips on that. I am at my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning, and that is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok and Pinterest. I'm usually on Instagram. I'm sometimes on TikTok, but come find me there. If you can't find me there, come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. All of our Brave Noise episodes from the podcast are there as well, if you have not heard them. And you can email me on lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. And don't forget, you can check out the podcast on Instagram. We are A Woman's Brew.
We're on YouTube as well. We're
on
YouTube.
Everywhere.
We're
everywhere.
We can ask Alexa, your smart speaker, whatever. We're there.
We are everywhere. Come make a brave noise with us. So on that note,
cheers.
Cheers.
I don't have a drink anymore.